Hello, my creative friends. It's Summer with hamonsnest.com, and I'm so glad you're catching this video tutorial today. I hope it blesses your crafty inspiration and you find some techniques you want to try. I picked up this frame that I'm working on from Pop Shelf. If you've never been to one of those stores, I just had my first trip there recently. And so this was $5, this little wood frame, and I'm just going to give it a little makeover. So you saw that I painted the back piece of the frame after I took the glass and everything out with a coat of plaster chalk paint. And now I want to transform this wooden pedestal base, which looks really cool, by the way. I want to make it look like rusty metal. And my go-to technique for that is to take the wet Mod Podge, brush it on, sprinkle the cinnamon on, and then coat it again with more Mod Podge. That's what you're going to see here in this process. The reason I love this is, number one, it's cheap. I use dollar store cinnamon usually as my crafting cinnamon. I just keep a jar of it in my craft room because I just love this technique so much. You can do full coverage like this with this technique, or you can do little spots of it if you want to add spots of rust to something that you're crafting or giving a little makeover to. It's just a really lovely technique, and I've come to really, really love doing it. So while that is drying, it looks kind of milky and hazy now, but it'll dry clear. We're going to give a little scuff sand to the wood frame part, because next we're going to brush on one of my favorite products. It is a Crackled product, and there are lots of them out there, so to each their own. Everybody has their favorite techniques that they love, but I just wanted to introduce you to this. This is the Amy Howard Cracked Patina, if you've never seen me use it before. It looks kind of and feels kind of like the consistency of honey, but it's a little bit thinner. And you just brush it on, you have to let it dry. Let it dry past tackiness, so it needs to not be tacky, be all the way dry to the touch. And I'm going to do a full coverage crackle on this. It's a little different than your average crackles, being that it gives this layered kind of old world look at the same time that it does the crackle. And so it's really nice. So while that's drying, we're going to put some Mod Podge over this part of the frame, where we're going to be putting some beautiful artwork printed on rice paper. Let me point out this rice paper. Do you see me moving this around? I left this part in the video and did not edit it out so that you could see how easy it is to pick up rice paper. That's one thing I love about it. It's a thick decoupaging paper. Anyway, and you see this beautiful little design. So his eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches over me. If you like this design, good news for you. If you go to hamonsnest.com or check the description wherever you're watching this video, I should have a link for you to go grab the download. Anyway, so let's keep going, and I'm going to put a coat of plaster over the dried patina. And what's going to happen is that underneath color, which was a great color to start working with, is going to show underneath in the crackles. And it starts drying immediately. You can start seeing it start to crack. There's an instant reaction that happens as soon as that paint starts drying. And it's beautiful, and I just love it. Now for an extra little touch, I'm going to, of course, clean up the back because I want it to look nice. And then I'm also going to take my little same sander that I used to scuff sand, and I am going to hit some of the corners and the edges and the high places just to give it a little bit more character, because, you never can have too much character. And that also helps kind of define the shape of the frame even more, and doesn't let that technique of that crackle totally overwhelm the piece. So it kind of breaks it up, breaks your eye up when you're looking at the faux finish. Now I'm going to seal in my crackle with Mod Podge. You could seal it in with polyacrylic or just whatever you wanted to. But see, it's just a little bit more unique than your average crackle. And then on certain pieces, you can really see it. This would be really beautiful on furniture and things. All right, I'm popping that Printable that we Mod Podged on the back right back in there, and look how pretty. Okay, so here's an option. I'm just showing it to you. I ended up not doing a bow and leaving it, but I showed you that I'm just taking a little bit of piece of Osnaburg muslin and making a simple little shoestring bow, and I'm using some temporary glue dots to adhere the bow on there, just so you can see what it looks like with a bow and without a bow. And I'll show you the end shots here too, and you'll be able to see what it looks with and without. In my house, I'm going to leave it without the bow, but I do see how it gives it a nice little finishing touch at the same time too. So it just depends. How beautiful did this turn out? Are you inspired? Do you want to make one of your very own? Don't forget to check the descriptions of wherever you're watching this, or head to hamonsnest.com for the free printable info. Bye-bye.